Good. All right, Mr. Jones. Go ahead.
6:30 p.m. on June 14th, we're going to call this budget hearing to order, and also afterwards the regular session of the Reed Sports School District. May all rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, individuals wishing to address the board during the budget hearing will hopefully fill out a community comment card upon entering the boardroom. It is required to list the items in which you need to address. Input address to the board is limited to no more than 3 minutes. Public input rules for virtual attendance. Anybody else? Wishing to address the board without being present at the boardroom may submit their input in writing or email to the address listed below. Input received by 3 p.m. on this day of the hearing be read at the appropriate time in the meeting as determined by the board chair. At this time, is there anybody that would wish to?
There's no community comment cards filled out.
Okay, thank you. Anybody in the audience that would like to? Great. This time I'm going to adjourn the budget hearing. And I'd like to open up regular session. We do have a quorum. Is there any changes to the agenda?
There's the revised agenda that you have.
Pardon?
I make a motion, we accept the revised agenda as.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your left hand. Passes unanimously. Now, the best part of all of our meetings, Mr. Superintendent, sir, let's present us with some accolades, please.
There are quite a few. The nature of the last couple of meetings, we're busy at the sports season, so we've got a bunch. And actually what we did is we canceled part of our agenda to be sure we had more time for students. So, April, Rhea Kamar and Mr. Shaw, please come on up. We have a copy of you over. Yeah. Rhea, this is what he's reading.
This is a letter to the parents of Rhea. It's with great pleasure that I'm writing you this letter to announce Rhea Kumar as the Reed Sport Community Charter School Computer Technology Student of the Month of April. I have Rhea in computer applications class, and pleased to inform you that she's a terrific student who represents Reed Sport Community Charter School well in all her efforts. Rhea shows a high degree of character in my classroom. She's a very good student who is willing to help with any project. She's always cheerful and eager to get started. She's also very punctual and considerate of classmates. Rhea is a pleasure to be around and a great person to work with. Rhea completes all of her projects on time. She's shown clear leadership ability in the classroom with her classmates through helping tutor others to solve problems or offer suggestions. Rhea has shown that her persistence and determination in computer applications class has helped her classmates to improve. I believe that Rhea's ability to learn and desire to improve are qualities that set her apart Her skills in computer applications and hard work make her an inspiration to work with. Rhea is an asset to any project she's a part of, and I'm happy to present her as a computer science student of the month for April at Reed's Fork Community Charter School.
One of the things I always try to point out, and I forgot to mention, each member of the staff only gets to do this one time a year. So they have to pick that one student that just really stands out in their mind as deserving. So, and obviously Rhea is an example. We've got some more here. Zariah Morel. And this is,
I don't see this.
we're gonna wait on that one. We're gonna jump to Mark Johnson.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait on that one too. Ellie Sparks and Mrs. Hoffman. Ellie, come on up here. This is a busy time of year, so get ready to do this. Ellie, you want to watch a copy of this also? Okay.
I am happy to recognize Ellie Sparks for the Superintendent Award for first grade in Ms. Coffin's class in 2023. Ellie is a kind and gentle person. She is sensitive to people around her. That sensitivity is shown by the special way that she cares for others. Ellie is always polite to her teachers and staff. She is also polite to the students around her. She says please and thank you, and in general speaks very kindly to others. She is very generous. She will share her crayons, her pencils, and anything else that she has. She will make sure no one is left out. Ellie will make sure to invite people into her conversations, games, and in other activities that she is a part of. She is patient while waiting her turn, and I've even seen her give up a turn for others who may not have had a chance to play the game or read the book. Ellie is very understanding. She will listen to other people's feelings and try to help them feel better. She tries to show them the brighter side of what's happening and encourage them along the way. She goes out of her way to help other people feel special. She tries to help others to feel happy and feel more confident in themselves. She is very alert to people's feelings, and she cares about what others have to say. Ellie has a wonderful listening ear, and people are comfortable with her and comfortable talking to her about things. She has made many coloring pictures for me and for those around her as a token of her friendship. She makes it a point to say hello to everyone in the morning and sees how we are all doing. She's actively expressing gratitude, and oftentimes when she leaves the classroom for the day, she will say, "Thank you, Mrs. Coffin, for the fun activity we did today." She shows a high level of compassion and empathy and understanding to others as she relates to others' challenges. Without compassion, life as we know it would be very different. And without Ellie in our class, that would be different also. Part of the wonderful class that we have is due to the fact that we have Ellie and her kindness in our class. The most wonderful thing about Ellie is that all of these great attributes that she holds comes naturally from her heart. She is just that wonderful. How blessed we are. Thank you, Ellie, for all that you do for us.
Thomas Morgan and Mr. Skipton.
Oh. Over here. Oh, yeah. Check me if I'm wrong. Are you a freshman?
To the parents of Thomas Morgan. Thomas is a freshman student in my 6th period class IT fundamentals and has almost survived an entire year with me. During this time, we've learned some things about personal computers, hardware and software, networking, and how the internet works, and other topics. Several times, we have had projects that needed assembly, disassembly, or configuration of some type, and Thomas is always a willing volunteer. He is focused on the work at hand and leads by example, which makes my job easier. I have had him work on technology-related projects with little supervision and have never been disappointed in his inquisitive mind or efforts put forth. To underscore my point, when it's my turn to have my classroom teaching observed and evaluated, I will frequently call on Thomas to answer questions I pose to the class about what we have learned thus far, or to draw conclusions based on what we are covering in the material, because I know that he is smart, observant, and articulate, making me look like a real teacher that has purposefully imparted knowledge to their students. As far as I'm aware, Thomas isn't even considering a career in information technology, but he's very capable, self-controlled, and focused, traits that are sorely lacking in many of his contemporaries, traits that will no doubt serve him well in the remainder of his high school career and beyond. I feel compelled to mention somewhere that Thomas is also a multi-sport student athlete and is well-liked and well-regarded in his athletic pursuits, where he is a great representative of the Reed Sports School District. Another characteristic that sets him apart from his classmates, Thomas always says, "Thank you, Mr. Tipton," when leaving my classroom. I'm not entirely sure why. It may be that he's just raised right and is generally respectful around adults and teachers. Or maybe because he's genuinely grateful for the opportunity to learn something related to the subject matter. No matter the motivation, it comes across to me as an attitude of someone who is grateful, thankful, and respectful. An attitude that isn't exhibited by any other students in my classes. In summation, I appreciate Thomas and his work ethic, attitude, and self-control, and I wanted to let him know publicly that these reasons and more are why he is my selection for the Superintendent Award, and this was last month in May. He should be lauded as a great example of what can be accomplished with a winning combination of attitude and application. Thank you.
Good. All right. Oh, thank you. Let's try Xander Parker and Mr. Smith. This is this time. That's got your last one. Glasses.
All right, to the family of Xander Parker, it is with the greatest of privileges that I nominate Xander for the June 2023 Superintendent Award. When I approached Xander about my selecting him for this award, he was truly taken aback. He simply stated, out of all the school, why me? This is a great question, and one that I hope I can answer for him and all others present. I will start by saying that I've had the privilege of seeing or watching Jim. Sorry, let me choke up. Why don't I might take you up on that? Where was I? I've had the privilege of watching Xander grow over the last 6 years. Xander has always been a ball of energy. Him consistently moving and his motor appears to never turn off. At a cursory glance within the classroom, this energy may at times be overlooked. Not because he suddenly has the ability to shut it off, but because he understands that in that moment, either he or other students or the situation needs him to control it. Xander is always energized, but he remains keenly aware of others' needs and works extremely hard to control it. This leads us to the next observation I made over the years, and that is that Xander's heart. Xander has a huge heart and genuinely cares about others. This is seen in his daily actions and behaviors in the subtlest ways. I have never witnessed or heard Xander saying mean or hurtful things to others. He tries to help anyone in need
And more than anything else, he tries to be respectful of everyone else's needs, not just his own. Follow this up with Xander's academics. It becomes evident that he is very bright, or a very bright young man, and he takes his education seriously and generally wants to do well. He may go off task on occasions, but he takes redirection well, and as he does not want to create hardship for others. For Xander, the academics are not the hard part of school, as he is very passionate for learning. He has, and based on what I have seen, he will always have a curious mind looking for answers. Xander is a good friend to his peers, both his age and younger. He has always presented himself in a happy, positive, and uplifting manner. He respects others and is always willing to do what he can to lift others up when they are down. I have never heard Xander asking about anything for himself. If anything, he may ask if somebody else needs help. I see Xander as a very caring, empathetic, smart, and energetic young man who works extremely hard day after day to rein in his energy and focus on the task at hand. If he is not doing it for himself, he is doing it for others. He does this each day knowing that he will be exhausted from the activity, not from the activity, but from the amount of focus it takes him to rein in his energy. I admire Xander for all of these reasons and more. I hope you recognize all these traits in yourself and understand what a valuable part of the community you are. Once more, congratulations on your achievements. I really, truly admire it. I'm gonna come back to May. How about Zariah Merrill and her teacher, Mrs. Austin? So Zariah.
Good parents of Zariah. It is my great honor to nominate Zariah as a recipient for May's Superintendent Award 2023. I have had the pleasure of getting to know Zariah this year, and she has added so much happiness and kindness to our class. Zariah has welcomed first grade with great enthusiasm. She is a hard worker and always tries her very best on every assignment. If she is unsure of what is being asked of her, she makes sure she is asked for clear expectations. Zariah is very diligent when working and always completes her work in a timely manner. If she finishes her work quickly, she is always willing to lend a helping hand to any of her classmates that may need it. Over the course of this school year, I have seen Zariah gain confidence and have seen the great eagerness to learn. She shows this through her participation during lessons, and it shines through her work. Zariah is a great academic, but she is also very kind. She is a kind friend to all that she encounters. She is there with a kind word or a much needed word of encouragement. Zariah is quick to give compliments to her classmate when they have made achievements of their own. I have truly enjoyed getting to know Zariah this year, and a bit sad to see her move on to second grade, but I am absolutely sure she is ready to spread her kindness and love for learning in second grade. Thank you, Zariah, for your hard work this year. I am very proud of you.
Brandon Stevens and Mr. Smart.
To the parents of Landon Stevens, it is my pleasure to write this letter about Landon to the deserving recipient of the Superintendent's Award of the month of June of 2023. I've had the great pleasure of getting to know Landon this year in my shop class. Landon inspired me to be better by his actions in the classroom and seeing his response to instruction and applying those teachings to produce a product. During my lecture times, I noticed Landon is not disruptive He's not a student that needs to be the center of attention. His quiet nature works well with the class. And he honestly asks clarifying questions and has appropriate answers when called upon. As I have spoken with Landon with other staff members, I see that I am not the only one to be able to enjoy a student who actively listens to and participates in the classroom discussions and learning. I also appreciate he gets my sense of humor, which helps in my line of work for sure. He actually gets it. I also witnessed Landon help with other students who are less fortunate or struggling to understand the class or hesitate to operate machinery. Landon always offers assistance and has been a model student for me. I am excited to see where Landon can go, not just in the high school years, but in the years beyond. Landon has a great amount of potential, and as he continues to work hard, the future is truly bright for him and the people around him. It is for these reasons, and I am proud to nominate Landon for this award, and I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys. I thank you guys.
Thank you. So, why don't Mr. Newton, want to step in there? Nathan Gillen.
It is my great pleasure that I nominate Nathan Gibbon for the June Superintendent Award for his outstanding work in RCCS kitchen. Nathan is one of 3 students during third period, just before lunch, so the class is in rush mode to get all the food finished, portioned, wrapped, and the kitchen clean and ready for food service. Nathan has a work ethic like an adult. He completes any task I ask of him, including cleaning, without hesitation. He takes the initiative to clean his work area without being asked, as he has learned that is part of the routine. He works well with his classmates and is quick to make a joke and uses his sense of humor to make the time fly. I take pride in the appearance of our food presentation. I know that I can trust Nathan to do the job exactly as he's been shown. Nathan also works well alone and does not balk or shirk any task given and gets the job done. What I find as a true work ethic is that after he finishes his assignment, he asks if there is any more work to be done, even if there is only 10 minutes left in class. Many adults as well as students will leave early. It has been a pleasure to have him in my class this year. I know that he will be an asset to any employer in the future. Congratulations, Nathan.
Nathan's teacher is Mrs. Scoogill. So, walk out, we miss a picture. We want to pull everybody back up here and it'll be a big show, but we want to have the teacher and the student, and Mrs. Tipton will come in here in just a minute and grab a group photo for us. So if the student and the teacher can come up one more time and we'll get the picture.
Sorry.
You have to make sure to announce that before they.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning, it's
They were quick.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, this one running long, I think.
Okay, everybody scoot in, please.
All right. Yeah, jump on in here. I can always take it.
Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3, make sure you smile for your mom, and I'm gonna take a couple to make sure nobody's blinking.
Thank you, everybody.
If you're sure. All right.
So we make sense. I can't do it and everything she
Yeah, Xander, good work. I was super happy when I heard
Very ready for the next part.
that. He's grown so much. I mean, he's grown so much.
Right, and still lots more to go, but
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Retirement to the staff or whatever.
All right. We got another presentation to make.
Thank you, thanks
So
everybody.
thank you. We'll acknowledge that Sandy Johnson is also one of our retirees tonight. Terry Wicks joined us. Terry, if you'll come up here, we want to give you something. Terry Wicks is retiring from the Reedsport School District after many years of service. So Terry, congratulations on your retirement. We want to present this to you in appreciation of your commitment to education, your dedicated service, and countless contributions to our district and community. For all the lives you've impacted, the students you've inspired to love learning, we honor you, Reedsport School District, 2007-2023.
Wow.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
Terry, good luck in convincing your husband to follow suit.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Good girl.
And he's gotta still work because I'm not. Well, there I go. Yeah, right.
This is a tough. Yeah. You like that? Eric Brandon, in appreciation, the Reedsport School District honors you for your outstanding support and dedication towards empowering all students by word and deed. Your efforts have been enriched the lives of our staff and the students and serves as an example to all in the Reedsport community. For all your years, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't get pictures of Terry. Can I
Yep.
have a picture of you? You and John, please.
Yeah.
Hold on, here comes Eric.
Yeah, no.
Thank you. And Eric, I'll get all three of you. Ready, 1, 2, 3. I'll take another one. Make the other one.
That's enough.
There is cake out in the lobby for anyone. I got pictures of it, so I'll send you a picture.
Okay, wonderful. I saw that.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Terry.
Thank you.
Very nice. I'm going to text her. So, we can like. I'll go ahead and move into executive session now.
Is, do you have a phone call in?
Get everything on.
Don't let Jen see it.
She's her log on now.
So we're ending.
Go ahead.
She's really got her.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're gonna go into executive session. Or to handle, personnel business. So we're gonna ask you to leave the room and or talk to goes down the fees. And we'll call you all back. You'll hear when we get done.
some action.
What, sir?
I'm gonna recommend going straight to your consent agenda. Skipping reports.
There was something on the report.
Oh. Yeah, we need the signing to happen. We can catch you tomorrow.
What's the pay to play athletic for anything else?
I'm curious what the thinking is for the board regarding charging those high school fees. Pre-COVID, there's $10,000 to $15,000 depending on the year and the turnout and revenues. We had better participation since not charging. Having conversation that perhaps those fees are a barrier, and we see more people out, and therefore we have a little bit more teeth in them being academic because they're out having to stay eligible than when we were charging fees, and it was something that not everybody was able to make happen.
Are we back in regular?
How much were the fees, John? Football's at 100, and the others are 75.
I think it was like 40.
And then I think there's a family cap at around 400. Yes.
We'll be back in open session now.
Wow.
So we haven't charged now for the last 3 years. Our turnout's been pretty good, and I think our student engagement, because they are tied to sports, they're at least aware of a reason why they're having to do school. We didn't see before that.
Was Sandy Johnson here today?
She asked to skip.
And not be it,
Didn't want to be here. Or,
but didn't want to be recognized.
like, I mentioned her name.
Okay, let's move to item number 12, action item.
Please go to the consent. There's a few hirings that need to happen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let's go back up to the consent agenda.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second the motion that we approve the consent agenda as written.
All in favor, raise your left hand. That makes it unanimous. Thank you.
And here's where you need Rachel on action A, and then I'm gonna let her go.
Okay, you ready for this? Resolution 01-22-323 is interfund transfer of appropriations in the general fund and special revenue funds. So our general fund, major function 2000 is gonna come in a little bit short. I like to give a lot of extra padding so that we don't have an extra emergency meeting. So I am proposing to move $500,000 from contingency to the major function 2000 in the general fund, and moving 300,000 from major function 2000 in special revenue fund to major function 3000. Same money, different functions.
And the short payment coming, came from one.
So in the special revenue fund, it was food service money that was being spent higher than what was budgeted. And we had the revenue for it, just that we didn't allocate as much in the expenditures for that function. And then in the general fund, it's support services because of the remodel of the elementary school. Because that was not planned to be that expensive. Unfortunately, COVID helped us out with the costs being skyrocketed and materials and labor coming in much higher than what Michael had projected originally.
When spending exceeds the budgeted allowance, we have to be within 10%, right? Within 10%, we're okay, but when we're exceeding 10% of what we budget in an area, all off food service, even though we have the money to do it, we have to get a resolution to make these transfers. That's what we have happening here.
This is just keeping us from having a finding in our audit.
Is there a reason why those specific amounts aren't included in item number one?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Well, you're asking for specific amounts for transfer.
Mhm.
I'm just curious why those amounts aren't listed in that resolution.
Because it's moving, it's in the same fund, so it's the 500,000 change in 100 and then 300,000. They're just moving within the same fund, so it zeroes out, but it's the 300,000 and 500,000.
You have it documented in your appropriations.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Then can I ask how far over budget were we on that office?
I think we wanted it to be at 150 and it was,
It's a little over 3 right now, 3.5.
And that was a free.
we were guessing last spring, we could go for 150. And we were seeing bids $300,000 and $400,000. So
I don't doubt it.
our early spring guess was not enough. We didn't budget enough in that area. So we did have to move to a different area.
We go to motion on one.
The motion on one board and two both.
This is just for number one.
You want to do them individually? I'll make a motion to approve resolution number one as written.
Second.
The second. Been moved to second to approve resolution. Is it
The number one, it's 01-22-23.
Yeah. All in favor, raise your left hand. Approved unanimously. Unanimously.
So resolution 2-22-23 is a supplemental budget for the current year. That's why we had the agenda change for our budget hearing to be a supplemental budget for this year and the budget adoption for next year. So the seismic grant, if you recall, I presented the budget last spring, like 3 days after I took back over, and I wasn't privy to the information that there was a seismic grant at that time, and it hadn't been put in the budget. So as I'm doing grant claims and looking at our numbers, I've realized that we didn't have any appropriations in capital projects for a seismic grant, and we've spent a little bit of money. So this resolution is to appropriate the funds for the seismic grant that we have and will spend through June 30th. I made it 750,000. Right now, we're sitting at about 250. Just want to make sure if we get any more invoices in before June 30th, that we have enough coverage, and then it's budgeted for the remainder for next year.
I'll make a motion for resolution number 02-22-23 for the 2022-2023 supplemental budget for seismic grant approved.
Second. Been moved in second. All in favor, raise your left hand. Passes unanimously.
Okay, so resolution 03-22-23 is for adoption of the budget that was approved and referred to the board from the budget committee. For this resolution, when you're making the motion, you need to make the motion with the 3 parts of making appropriations and the dollar amount, imposing the tax and stating the tax rate, and also categorizing the tax and the tax rate.
You have to read the whole page.
So the resolution, it's at the very end.
It's the back pink. It's the only item. It's the back page. Very last page of your document.
So this one.
Yeah, find the action.
The budget is.
That one.
We gotta read the back of it.
Oh, yeah, read the front of it.
I can read that.
Very good.
So we gotta put all these numbers in it?
No, you can
Or
just give the
a nine-
total.
Just a 19 million.
You just have to, there's the 3 parts. You have to make appropriations for the 19 million. You have to impose the tax and read the tax rate, and then categorize the tax, read the tax rate and the bond levy amount. That has to be included in the motion.
Go ahead, Terry.
I can't even find it in my packet. Okay. There's my two. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I'm making a motion that we approve resolution 03-22-23, the 2023-2024 budget adoption. That it be resolved that the Board of Reedsport School District hereby adopts the budget for fiscal year 2023-2024 in the total amount of $19,359,296. That it be resolved that the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023 for the following purposes, for a total adopted budget of $19,359,296. That it be resolved that the following ad valorem property taxes are hereby imposed upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district for the tax year 2023-2024 at the rate of $4.3788. I'm not sure how to say that exactly. Okay. Per 1,000 of assessed value for permanent rate tax in the amount of $682,342 for bonds. And be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for the purposes of article, what article is that? 11, section 11B as, we have a permanent tax rate of $4.3788 per $1,000 and a general obligations bond of $682,342. Oh, totally appropriations. Okay. I will amend the resolution regarding the amounts shown below for the appropriated fiscal beginning year July 1st, 2023 for the following purposes to include total appropriations, all funds of $18,108,898. Does that work?
Yes, that works.
19 here.
I want to hear you do that again.
I can try it. But, you know, the one that gets me is the $4.3788.
I'll second.
Like, how do you set that?
2,788, 10 thousands.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your left hand. And no opposed, it's a yes vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's just policy, so.
Do you want to sign this grant paperwork for me really quick, or just leave it and have you sign it?
To show Sherman what I want signed and took it to court. I'll bring it with me to ESD.
Okay.
Okay, the next part is the policy rewrite. Section G, you guys all strapped in, ready to go on this? Okay, number 1, GC, licensed staff positions.
Just a minute.
Okay.
Slow down. Okay.
I just asked if there's any that are in those instead of leaving them.
Do you guys have long lists of items you're looking for to be held? Yeah.
No, I would like to just.
Bonnie, do you have any items you want?
Well, I think you and I covered a lot of that.
It's got to be coming in.
I'll go through it formally or informally.
Were there specific recommendations or approvals, deletions, or updates that you wanted to?
Yep. Number 7, GCBB supplemental pay plans. I'm actually recommending that you delete that one. That's covered by the collective bargaining agreement and is not required. So number 7, GCBB supplemental pay plans, I'm recommending delete. There's a couple of the ARs that I will address, but they're not required for you to take action on. And otherwise, there's a lot of change in the family leave stuff that's been updated. We have to just stick to the language that it's there. Well, not a lot of flexibility.
Some of the ARs, I think, someone where you have a choice.
Yeah. And generally, I try not to
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Good luck, Eric.
drive safely, watch your step out there.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
I try to not limit us any more than I have to. But it just kind of depends on which AR, and what's being asked of it. For example, there's a couple places where it says, superintendent versus human resources. Most of the family leave stuff, I'm gonna pass over to human resources. They have people, clerical people specialize in that, watching all that paperwork. I'm not gonna act on that on a regular basis. So it just kind of depends on what the actual function is. Is it a contract with ESD or something that the superintendent should be doing? So
With the paid family medical leave, there are two proposals, 1 and 2.
no, there's a bunch of them. There's all kinds of variations in the ARs. And paid family leave is a big thing. Starting up in fall, we need to have our policies updated.
Right, I'm just addressing 17 and 18.
17 and 18. Okay, oh. We go and see what I got here. GCBDF, GCBD. Where did that land on those?
That looks like it's the,
CBD,
that's the only one that has 2 options.
GCBD, GCBF. We are version 1. We're not doing it on our own. So yes, so number,
So we strike through 18.
yeah, I no on 18 and yes on 17. Thank you.
You said no on 17 and no on 18?
Yes on 17, no on 18. Were there any other items that stood out for you in your homework that you want questions on?
Anything else you have for us?
Number 6, there's a delete also. I can't read my pencil marks here, but I can see it now. Salary placement, number 6, out of district experience. We address that differently in collective bargaining. So 6, 7, 17, and 18 will require attention on the motion.
You good?
If you guys are happy, I'll answer questions.
I'm sure it is.
Okay, I just have the letter of GCPC,
GCPC.
and GPPC, that one has the options.
Okay, let me,
Retirement.
GCPC. Delete. And 1.
No, what was the second?
AR.
Well, there's.
Oh, the AR, okay. Do you want to know why it being deleted?
Well, no, there was, which one is recommended, you asked it. GCPC.
The proposed one, it is optional, but, we do have people on PERS work back. Now, I don't see a second version, or I don't see a second option. I see the one that's being deleted and the one that's being proposed. Or maybe I have the letters wrong here. GC,
Well, okay, GCPC / GDPC.
okay. Yeah, there's a proposed, it has several changes and we need it because we have employees currently on work back. The old one is recommended for delete.
This one's recommended for so the old GDP regulation of classified stock. Leaving both those.
Tell you what, I worked on these after doing a short hike, and my eyeballs swim.
Yeah. I don't understand that.
So, Mr. Chairman, I think you're ready for your motion.
What's that, John?
I think you're probably ready for your motion then.
Make a motion, on action item C. 1 through 50, 6 and 7 were deleted. And 18 is deleted, and 17 is a yes. The rest is.
I'll make a motion. I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, raise your left hand. Vote unanimous. Thank you very much.
John, I never.
Oh, you're right. Sure. Now we can go back to action item B.
Action item B for Boyd.
Yes.
What I miss?
Association of Reach for Educator Support Personnel contract
Consent agenda or the.
on the action items.
Oh, okay. My agenda is different. You know what? I pulled my my working copy when I was talking with you guys. Okay, give me 15 seconds here, please. Approve.
Oh, that's.
So we bargained well with the classified association and came to agreement. Two members of your board were in that committee, and it was a very efficient process. We have a good relationship with those folks. So we have 2 copies of the contract. If you guys will move to approve the contract between the classified association and us, we can get it signed, get them their copy, and get them paid correctly beginning July 1st.
Any question on the action? We're going to take a motion.
Make a motion to accept B, the Association of Reedsport Educational Support Personnel, 2023 through 2026 contract as written and worded. Second.
Been moved to second, all in favor, raise your left hand. Passes unanimously. Carried a little late, but that's good.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you.
Oh, is it the 4-0?
Jack, I just didn't.
Yeah.
Jack was staying.
Should have put
No, Jack,
No, he
no.
voted yes.
He voted yes.
Yeah, 5-0.
I think he can go.
I need to hear that, yeah, I need to hear from my daughter.
That's right.
That's why I wasn't on the committee.
I would want to do it with you.
She's tough. She's tough. Great mother. Man, she's a daddy mother. Can't ask her to find her grandchildren. None of the 780, but then just put her out at the Best Western or somewhere in town. She said her sleeping on a blow-up mattress in the back of her van. What? Yeah. And she told me, I said, you can go back. No, I'm staying in my bed. I asked her, do you have a bed and a cookware? Oh, no, I just have a blow-up mattress in the back of my van, a minivan.
I wonder if she was pulling her leg really hard, Jack.
Well, I'm thinking she was.
I've never seen her do that.
I'm going this.
And if we pay for it, then, you know, there's the don't ask, don't tell policy goes right out the window.
Yeah. Well, it would be kind of unprofessional for her to have to sleep in the back of her van.
Who was that?
Rachel.
Yeah, she was messing with me.
Yeah, I thought.
Okay,
But she doesn't look like a type that's.
board member comments. Jack,
Oh, I'm good to go.
Bonnie,
I have to say that I didn't get to enjoy the graduation ceremony, but I did enjoy the pictures that I've seen online of the students.
You can blame your buddy for that.
Yeah. And next year will be totally different, I promise.
I was telling John, it was strange, was almost to the day last year, I came down with COVID.
He wasn't there last year.
No.
And
I looked for your family in your rose tonight. I gave you
Carrie, do you have anything?
Well, I just have one more thing. I did go to the third grade wax museum. And that's a lot of fun to go to, see those little guys, what they've come up with, you know, and give their spiels. Some of them are just, they can just recite it off the top of their heads, you know, and others say, well, we did it in 20 minutes. But it was a lot of fun. I appreciate the effort that third grade puts into that, so. And I wish everybody a good summer vacation.
I would like to revisit or continue the conversation about pay-to-play athletics. You know, I know, John, you gave us some background. And I'd also like to know what our final enrollment attendance looked like at the end.
Of the sports season.
You have, this is also in the report section. I'm assuming that we forewent or that there was a decision to forego. We didn't circle back to reports. So I'm trying to understand what the process is, because you're asking for our comments, but you're doing it at the end. And
Final
we still have
enrollment was
reports.
595. So we can
Right, and then.
hovering 600 pretty much all year. Little up, we were at a high of 622 on the year, a low of 593. And the curious question is, what will the apartments by Safeway bring us in the fall? If they've got a waiting list of bodies, what will that do for enrollments? I don't know. In my brain, it's a wondering, we'll find out around Christmas time.
Kindergarten graduation, I'm sorry, kindergarten graduation, pre-registration and stuff, is that, those numbers looking good?
It's a false number. We always see about 50% of what we actually think we're gonna get,
Sure.
so we're on pace, but it's a low number. And then in the fall, they actually come. So, I don't know what the number is off the top of my head. The comment I heard was about what we expect. So that's usually around the 20 range that do the springtime registration. And I don't remember what the actual number was.
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
And it's I'm sorry, it's about policy. So anything that comes up from where we just approved this group of policies backward, policies that we haven't approved, if something comes up with those policies that have not been revised, deleted, updated, that kind of stuff, those are still in force as they stand, is that right?
So we're finishing G, so I, J, and then KL are still living off of the most recent approved policy this board has come up with, which is the old ones.
Right.
Through second half of G, we are operating an updated policy that this board has done in the last 6 months.
Right, okay, that's.
So thick is that collective.
Here's chapter I.
Oh,
Right there. This is, but I is, students. Yeah, I mean, it was instruction, I is instruction, J is students.
That's just on it.
Just on instruction, yeah.
Okay, so that's our next one.
Yeah, instruction, students, and then community.
Very good. So I just wanted to revisit pay to play athletics. You're saying there's somewhere in the neighborhood, $10,000 to $15,000 on the table. Do we want to revisit, suspending? Is that the question?
I would, at this point, I would recommend, we're not in a pinch financially that $10,000 is throwing us one way or the other. And in the meantime, it removes barriers for students to participate, and we've seen big turnouts. I can remember a few years where not having a team because not enough people interested in the sport, and you know, what other barriers do or don't exist. But if we can say the financial one isn't it, that's just one less able to account for student turnout.
And that's for clubs and sports.
We're doing it for sports. We don't have any fees for clubs right now, but yeah, the sports, because there's a handbook, or yeah, the handbook that we approve has the sports fees. Don't quote me, I can look at it. I think football's 100, everything else is 75. Just football by nature is expensive, but you know, if you have 2 kids in high school playing football in the household, that's a $200 bill to start the season. I remember the baseball tournament, when we went to Salem, they got us at the gate, $8 a head for every game. So a double header, we were supposed to go out and come back in. And for 3 games in 2 days, for the 3 of us, there was just under $75. So kids have to pay to play, and the parents have to pay on top of that to get into this stuff, to watch them play. I just feel like if we don't have to rely on those revenues to keep the athletic program alive, then we are supporting our community who are still paying these gate fees and still going to boosters and spending money at the auction and doing it in other ways. I think it comes back around for us, and I don't think we need it through the participation fees.
And to put a fine point on it, by increasing athletic participation, we also create a higher sort of playing field for kids' academics, because they're required to stay in. We may actually be helping kids graduate, get the degrees, and stay in school because they want to participate. And anything, you know, anything that helps them carry on their academic career, and this certainly does, is something that I would support.
I know very well that there are students who paid more attention to their academics because they had to for sports. Well, I guess I might as well, because I want to play sports. I know that for an absolute fact. If that gives them the reason, then let's take it.
Okay, period.
I think that's it for me. I'm gonna miss you.
I've seen that before.
I just want to say, thank you for, having me on the board for 8 years. And, I'm not going to say it was a pleasure, but, I'm going to say it was an experience. So, and thank you for the plaque and the wonderful pin. I really like that. So, I hope things go good with the new members. So.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure serving with you. And I'll use that word. You're the last one left who hired me.
I'm gonna beat that pen on the horse first.
That will be going on the mantle this week.
Well, I am going to miss your expertise and your smarts and your calm demeanor at times, and your chance to keep me calm. And you know, we got some changes coming up. We'll think about it when we go through those, some bad ones. So You know, some exuberation.
Get them on speed dial.
Yes, I do.
If you need me to do a random on Facebook for you, I can. Be my pleasure. See so many. of them.
You make it public, so I'll see it.
Yeah, and I won't be in trouble. So.
Graduation was pretty good. It was, you know, bittersweet, but it always is. And I just get so excited when on, you know, Monday morning when I hear about what a great bunch of graduates, you know, we're at an all-night party and you see them out and about and you see people and, you know, I mean, everything was positive and that's so cool. Just makes your chest swell with pride, but anyways.
Yeah, Laura said that, you know, this is her 5th year, I think, going on the all-night party as the private graduation. And she said this class, was by far probably the best one for is being respectful, having fun and, no Debbie Downer type scenarios, you know, so.
Where, did they have those when you were in school?
Yeah, we had it over here at Highland.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
we never had it.
yeah.
When I graduated, it was everyone just kind of went their own way.
Yeah,
We had a half a rack of beer and headed off to wherever.
yeah, the junior parents put it on and they always put it on over at Highland, but, it was all night there, so it was fun.
Cool. I know Joey got to do that. They had a really good time. Really good time.
They had a movie run, like poker room.
The pool was going.
The pool was going, yeah, they had a lot of different things going on, so it was fun.
My heavyweight at the graduation party, I could never make me 300 pounds. So,
Can I make one more comment?
yes,
And that's, I went to the scholarship awards night and watched the kids get their scholarships and stuff. And what an amazing group of kids, you know, and the community coming together with the amount of money that they have contributed to those scholarships was just phenomenal.
Every year.
yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing, yeah. May I have one more?
Sure.
So, Astro.
I just want to say, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to our elementary principal for holding together and working through some of the hardest times in probably what will be our lifetime with COVID and the state of education. You know, it has not been an easy few years. And so I just wanted to really tell her that I appreciated her work and her steadfastness and that she will be missed.
Anybody else one last time?
I think that's all.
One more? Just one more? Just wait, 10 people, I got more. So these,
More signatures for you, Carrie.
do you have a pile of those?
Are those related to?
Yep,
the-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,